and welcome to the Customer Experience Podcast, R&R, which of course stands for me, Richard Knight.
And me, Ryan Huxtable.
Yeah, well done. Second take, and it worked well. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We're here back warbling from the West Country. Me in here in Salisbury, and him down there in the pastures of Devon.
And hey, listen, this is a particularly exciting warbly because we're not going to moan, are we? We're not going to moan in this warble. May is the non-warbling moaning month.
Oh, that's interesting, actually, because, you know, May was supposedly no mow May, as in don't mow your lawn, keep it long for the insects. Yeah, this is no mow May.
No mown May. Do you know, my wife has gone on to me about not cutting the grass, and then I thought, no, that won't last. And about mid-May, you're going to cut the grass? See?
No, we're not going to moan, no, are we? We're not going to moan because it's no mow May. And today we are celebrating success, which is fantastic. We're often asked, so what does this great customer experience look like then? How do you go about doing it and making it really successful? Of course, we warble about that quite a bit with all the opportunities, but we have somebody who's been interviewed by your good self today who has given us great insight into what they've done and the success that they've had as well. So who have we got today, Ryan?
So I tell you what, we've got one of our longest standing clients that we've got kind of chat to us today. So Verity Slater is one of the partners at Stephen Scone. Stephen Scone are a large regional law firm across Devon and Cornwall, and they have had client experience at the heart of their strategy particularly for the last 5 years. And we asked Verity to come on and talk about why that is important to her.
Excellent.
And what they've achieved on the back of that, what the impact has been on their clients. So should we have a listen and see what she's got to say?
Absolutely. Here we go.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our R&R interview podcast. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Verity Slater. Welcome, Verity. Verity is one of the partners at Stephen Scone. Stephen Scone are a large law client of ours down in the Southwest. And we're delighted to have Verity with us today to chat about how Stephen Scone specifically focus on the client experience element of their business and how that's been a strategic part of their journey in the last few years, culminating in a brilliant accolade, which I'll let Verity share with you in a second. Verity, welcome. Can I just ask, Verity, why has the firm been focusing so hard on client experience?
Well, I think it's one of those things that all lawyers say that they're good at client experience, but to actually really differentiate ourselves and to make sure that we were walking the walk and doing the right things for our clients, we wanted to make it a strategic focus and to actually really make sure that we were doing what we said we were doing and therefore winning great clients off the back of our client experience journey. So really, it became a real strategic focus, as you say, about 5 years ago.
So you mentioned the strategic focus that you've made client experience. How have you gone about bringing that to life, both at kind of the board level and across the firm?
Yeah, sure. So it became a strategic pillar. So we have 4 strategic pillars, which we obviously report back on in all our strategy meetings and in our main operations meetings. And that filters through to everything that we're doing on our kind of day-to-day operations. So by having client experience as one of those pillars, it's really kind of embedded it as part of the organization and made it part of everyone's kind of language about the things that we're driving forward to be excellent at. So that's really helped. And I guess some of the things that you and I have done, Ryan, is to try to kind of then bring that to life for people on a daily basis. And that's through having particular initiatives, drives, videos, things that we're measuring and celebrating success as we go along.
That's brilliant. So you mentioned that you work with us, and you mentioned that you measure kind of how you're doing. How does that work? Just for the listeners' benefit, in terms of working with us and the measurement, how does that go down across the firm when maybe you're having to have lots of great conversations about the stuff when it's good, but when those more challenging conversations come along where perhaps you've got to intervene with members of the team to improve the client experience?
Yeah, sure. So we have, I guess, a number of different metrics. Mystery shopping is one of the things that we've done and been has been so useful. So that's obviously through the Insight 6 team, who then take scenarios that we give them and mystery shop, and it's all the way from the initial call or email inquiry through the website right down through to when they get their legal advice. So that's been really helpful because you know, those kind of experiences don't lie. You know, if you've had an experience that hasn't been so great, it's an example that you can then work through with that team or with those individuals and say, you know, what happened there? And you know, that not everything's perfect, but it gives you that real opportunity to say, look, you know, in this situation that would have been better, and to work out any kind of structural problems that might have led to those issues. And similarly, the other thing that obviously we do with you, Ryan, is what we call the P4 or key client reviews, and that's with our bigger clients. And that again has been a really great way to gather intel from those clients as to how they're getting on. And we find it really helpful to have that third-party person, yourself, having those chats with those clients, because they can be really honest, and maybe more honest than perhaps they would be if they're talking to their long-standing legal advisor about what could be good or better. And also it's more comfortable perhaps to introduce other teams or other initiatives, because the legal advisor is naturally often only thinking of their area of law rather than the wider area. So it's just been really great to have that objective input into what we're doing, and to help people really see that there are ways that they can improve, even when generally, you know, they're doing a good job.
That's fantastic. It's so important, isn't it, to just keep understanding how clients feel, because that gives you the opportunity to make those changes, as you mentioned. So you've done all this work, particularly you know, quite intensely the last few years, but certainly over the last 5 years. You know, the focus has been clear in the firm and has really helped you stand out from your competitors. We know that from the measurement we take in terms of how you compare to others in the market. When you look back, Verity, what would you say your proudest moments have been in the client experience arena, both personally but more broadly as a firm?
There's been so many, but I've personally really enjoyed seeing the follow-up scores improving on our mystery shopping. So that's where we've been encouraging people to make sure that they get back to clients within a certain period of time to follow up the work, and to do that with great empathy, and you know, to get over the hurdle that this isn't a hard sell. This is trying to help clients you know, who want legal services get over the line, and to assist them with that. And I suppose, yeah, more recently it's been fabulous to get this new award, or this new recommendation. So we put in for the Modern Law Awards for the CX, the Client Experience Award, and there was stiff competition. We understand it was the most hotly fought category in the whole awards, and we didn't win, which was a disappointment, but we came highly commended, which is second. And it was just fantastic that we were recognized for what we were doing, and actually just pulling the application together and looking at all the different things we've done really just cemented for me that it has been just such a great successful campaign. And I guess also, just on a personal note, I love handing out the bottles of fizz that we give to people for great CX results, and I love walking around the office and seeing our scone of stories, our posters around the client-facing and internal parts of our office, celebrating when people have done great things for clients, and that just lifts the spirit. And you think, what a great bunch of people we're working with who are driving the business in a really positive way. So yeah, thanks for those, Ryan.
It's amazing. And you can see, just as you're talking about how, you know, how much it means to you to get all of those great stories, and obviously the highly commended accolade, the Modern Law Awards, definitely not to be sniffed at. Verity, it's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today, and thank you for sharing all those top tips and all those great stories of how Stephen's kind of really focused on the client experience pillar within your strategy. And I think that's it's clear to see that businesses like yours that focus are so focused on delivering for the client, it really does set you apart from competition. So huge well done, and thank you for your time today.
No problem. Thanks, Ryan.
Well, there we go. There is the interview for this week. Fantastic. I got a smile on my face. It's all brilliant. I love it. I love it.
Great. So on it, and so honest. What did you take out of that then, Rich?
Well, I tell you what, I think it's really interesting. The information that we were given there was how that related to the fact that customer experience isn't just the send out a feedback form and then get some in and then put it in a drawer and don't do anything with it. It is completely the opposite end of the scale. The amount of time and focus that Stephen Scown have put on customer experience is a fantastic thing to hear about. The very fact that it is one of the strategic pillars for an organization is, in my sort of experience, very rarely heard of. And it's great to hear that the customer, the client, is at the center of an organization. And loads of organizations always talk about customer centricity and all of these lovely words, and it means nothing. But it was great to hear that this was really put there. So I found that really refreshing, because you have to have that at the high level. You have to have the goals and the view of where you want to get to before you can even start to implement the small things that we warble about on a regular basis. So that was really refreshing to hear. And then the other thing that I found really great was how that consistent approach was actually then rewarded and recognized. Absolutely brilliant. We know all about it as individuals and organizations, that we should reward and recognize good behavior, great behaviors, but it doesn't often happen because we just get caught up in the moment, don't we, of, oh, well, fine, it's just part of your job, let's get on. But actually, in terms of the reward and recognition piece, a bottle of champagne, you've got reward mechanisms set in place. It's brilliant. And guess what? The person's going to do it again. And if somebody else sees that you reward and recognize for focusing on having a great conversation with the client, for following up, oh, wow, that was great to hear. A change in the follow-up measure on mystery visits. Fantastic. It was great, really great to hear.
What's great about working with Verity and the team at Stephen Scown is all of what you've just said, but I think fundamentally as well, there's two words I'd use: relentless. 3 words: relentless, resourceful, and resilience. And they are relentless. So every month we review their measures. Every month we look at what the outputs are. Every month we look at how we can provide resilience to the teams by going along and maybe having a chat with them or providing some more training. And they're really resourceful about how they think about how they're going to support the team, what they're going to do next. And one of the things that they're looking at now is, going abroad, going to the States, having a look at how other brands, do great customer care. And of course, fundamentally, it is at the heart. It's one of their strategic pillars. So it's been, the firm has doubled in size in the last 10 years, and it's been driven by this relentless focus on what the client wants. The other thing that's interesting is when we work with them is one of the things we do for them is we constantly hold attention for them. So we constantly benchmark them against the sector. We look at what they're saying on their website about their client experience, and we really hold the mirror up. And what Verity values about our relationship is our ability to be able to do that. And you can only do that if you've got that trusted relationship with your client, which they're now trying to replicate with their clients. And during lockdown, they were one of the only businesses we were working with where they came to me and said to me, because it'd been very easy to kind of, say to us, look, we're not going to work with you during the lockdown because, we're trying to save money and etc. They didn't do that. They turned it around and they said, right, how can you help us reach out to our clients? Great. And they had a program with their partners where they were actually ringing their clients, just to check in, actually, to see how their clients were. And, trusted advisors, difficult time, but they actually converted work on the back of it. They were able to get the skin of clients, what clients were worried about. Yeah. And then fundamentally, of course, they've been recognised by the Modern Law Awards, getting the highly commended accolades. So, they're a great firm to work for. And look, if you're listening to this and you want to know more and you want to understand how they've done so well, and I personally picked up another couple of clients on the back of the work that we've done with Stephen Scown, and we're replicating that with them now. The same thing is happening. We've got an architect's firm, we've got an accountant's firm. Yeah, absolutely. The 3 R's exist there as well in terms of that relentless measurement, the resilience and the resourcefulness. They just keep focused on the client. So well done, Stephen Scown. Congratulations on your Modern Law accolade. Yeah. Reach out guys, you want to know more.
Absolutely. And another thing that you can do, a bit of a resource that we've got for everybody, is our reports on professional services, data from the end of last year, looking at, and we talk about benchmarking, so you can access that. So we'll put the link to that on if you're on LinkedIn listening to this, you can find it there. If you're listening to it on the podcast side of things, go to insight6.com. And you'll be able to get access to that report. See what we're looking at and think to yourself, how do we stack up? And if you want to know how you really stack up, give us a call. We'll provide the insight for you. And then to Ryan's point, we can sit with you, work with you and help you move this forward, and it be part of what you do, not just an add-on or part of who you are as an organisation. Love it. How fantastic has this one been? We haven't even moaned about nothing, look.
Do you know what? As I was sat there listening to you, I was thinking, you know what, how great businesses are that like Stephen's game, that are resourceful, relentless and rewarding. It's a bit like cider drinking, isn't it? You've got to be relentless. You've got to be resourceful. You've got to keep thinking about where the next new brand of cider is going to come from. You need to be resilient after that night on the cider. So
well, that's true.
3 hours absolutely conform to great client experience or great cider drinking. We've just got to keep that in context, haven't we?
By the way, this is no way are we endorsing drinking lots of alcohol. This is entirely up to you. That is not our point. Ryan I just want to make this clear, Ryan was trying to be funny, by the way, if anybody missed that. Anyway, I've been Rich Knight, look.
I've been Ryan Huxtable. See you in June.